It's me, Medican, and we are here on the Discord with my two comrades, whitecomputerpower and slumdigger. Say hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, it's whitecomputerpower. You probably have seen me on other people's podcasts calling in, saying my dumb nonsense, or seen my idiotic comments on other incel type videos.
Today we're gonna bring you a very important video. It's gonna be very educational, revealing, exposing, and even instructional, because we're gonna talk about how personality doesn't matter to girls, and basically looks equals personality to girls. And we've got 45 slides ready for you with very accurate elaboration to every one of it. And yeah, guys, do you got something to say?
I'm ready to take this black pill ride. Let's go.
So we are looking at the first slide right here, and basically for the starters I want to say often I get caught in this crossfire in bunch of normie NPC blue-pilled servers or platforms or realms all over the internet. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube or Discord, and people sometimes talk about dating and social dynamics and incels, and basically it happened to me. I was actually banned at least 10 times from various places because I was just stating the fact that looks are everything, and this is how girls are perceiving men in 2020. And this picture basically, it sums it up. Basically these NPCs, they are like making goddamn rocket scientists out of themselves, yet I just claim that looks is creating the friction, and you know how Chad doesn't have to have personality and he still get the result. And these people are absolutely triggered. They instantly want to ban you, remove you, silence you, and then they claim I have terrible personality. So yeah, this video is gonna debunk most and all of the possible rebuttals that normies and NPCs are using against us. It's pointless to blackpill normies, but if you get caught in a crossfire, you have to have ability to defend yourself. So this is it. Guys, watch, listen, and we're gonna bring you some serious, very important stuff. Okay, guys, anything else to say to this scenario of being silenced all the time?
No, you said it best. These normies will go around talking about how they are all about being scientific and factual. You know, facts don't care about your feelings, etc., etc. Then the second you bring up the science of looks, which is definitely a science, all of a sudden there's an issue. We know what qualities are attractive. We can take it all the way down to the facial features that are considered conventionally attractive, that are most likely to attract you a mate, but they don't want to hear about any of that. They don't even want to talk about the details because it doesn't make them happy.
Yeah. You mentioned that they are being triggered because it's distorting the social balance, right? I remember.
Yep, absolutely. There's a lot of coping that goes on in these normie spaces. You know, whether you're talking about Discord, Reddit, Facebook, I mean, you name it. Anywhere where there's a group, especially if there's a lot of blue pillars in there, a lot of guys who are coping and are in doubt about even the red pill, let alone the black pill.
Exactly.
They don't want you coming in there talking about the science of looks.
They're denying it's so hard, yet black pill is everywhere, and every girl is acting upon it. So yeah, Whitecomp, you got something to add?
Yeah. So I mean, case in point, brain cells, right? That was the point of it. Is incels were going to start bringing more science-based and not just anecdotal type evidence to the masses, and so that's what brain cells was all about. And of course, what happened to it ended up getting banned because, oh no, they actually have so many stats and facts proving it. They had to shut it down. I wouldn't be surprised in the future if they're just like with, I guess, political type facts. There's going to be fact checking for incel facts, as in the normies are going to need a third party to, I guess, give their stamp approval to state that, oh yeah, this is true, or oh no, this is garbage, made up, fake stats science.
Yeah. Yeah, that was perfectly summed up for starters, and we're gonna move to the next slide, which is this one. And this is the magnus opus, right? Slum.
Absolutely.
This
There's-
is not only
yeah.
shortest but most powerful axiom there is. And also I am advising viewers and listeners to use this slide as a memes, literally weaponized memes, to shove it in normies' faces every time they try to debunk you. I'm gonna probably add a link in description for the whole collection. And yeah, guys, go ahead.
Yeah, so you said it best. I mean, this is the summary of pretty much everything we're going to be talking about today. So we all know the memes. You know, it's all about your personality, bro. You know, you're not saying the right things, bro. You know, et cetera, et cetera. It's false. It's false, and we're going to spend a lot of time debunking that. Your looks are the first thing that she sees. You cannot out-behave a face. You cannot out-behave a frame. You cannot out-behave your height. It's the first thing she observes, and if you don't pass that initial test, there's no secondary assessment. You don't get a chance to show off your personality. So just like this meme says, your looks are your personality.
Yes, exactly. Which brings us to basically this statement. But Whitecomp, I forget about you. Do
Yes.
you have something
Oh,
to
no
add?
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would update this, or even add more to women. Looks is your everything. It's not just your personality. Looks is your career. Looks is how people treat you in life. How well your education is, like as far as teachers and the way people react to you. But yeah, looks is everything.
Yeah,
Now today's
yeah.
video is all about the personality, which is what we're focusing on. But yes, in general, looks is everything.
Yeah, which gonna bring us to halo effect very soon in the next slides. But if we are about to be subtle about this, we can say personalities is just an extension of looks. Because if looks is your resume, and then your interview is your personality, but if girls or your employer doesn't like your resume, you will never get it. You will never make it to interview. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else to add, guys?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this again throughout the entire video, but one thing I always like to highlight, and this again relates to halo effect, so I won't go too deep into it here. I know we have other memes that
Yeah.
are directed at that, but bad personality will be explained away if the looks are good enough. That's what this means to me, is your looks are an extension of your personality, because no matter what your personality is, if your looks are good enough, it will compensate.
Yeah, which also brings us to this very important chart. Guys, look very closely. This is also kind of magnus opus. This chart came from Incel Wiki. And basically this is how girls are perceiving us. And this is it. I posted this sometimes somewhere. The reality is so bad that this picture can get you banned from various places, guys. This is the state of reality we're in. And I also met this NPC Cooper, and he said like, but you know, I'm ugly, but I'm so charismatic. I mean, that's instantly nonsense, because if you're ugly, you can't be charismatic, because charisma is basically part of good looking, right?
Absolutely.
Well, he may perceive himself as charismatic, but
Exactly.
I'm sure women think of him as creepy. I mean, he may think
Exactly.
he's charismatic, but on the actual scale in reality, women are looking at that bottom right because he is both ugly and trying to be confident.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, I have a suspicion that more than half of all incels are actually confident people with great personality, but they don't meet the threshold of looks for women to perceive them as attractive, which is a terrible fate. I mean, yeah. like we've got this guy back to school cell, such a great dude. I mean, he's skillful, knowledgeable, such a great company, and yet girls are laughing at him because he's 5'2", 5'3", right?
Yep.
And I've got another friend, Saint Kumersel. He's like Hapa and 5'3", and he's such a great friend of mine. He always make us laugh. Damn, I wish he was my real life friend. And guess what? 0 matches, basically. He's out of the dating market because it's all based on the looks. And
Yeah.
as sad as it is, lookism is the absolute state of it. So yeah.
So yeah, these guys are very sociable. They do everything that the is recommended. Oh, you just need to go out. You just need to be extroverted. You just need to do outside hobbies. These guys have done all this. Now, the reason why this chart is very maybe controversial or hateful for the normies is because it's pretty much black and white in the sense that no matter, your actions are the same. You can be shy and good looking or shy and ugly, and it's going to be different. So it's not your action that's actually what differentiates you. It's your either you look good or you're ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it cuts straight to the point.
We kind of went here already a little bit, but yeah, this is a perfect sentence to describe as an analogy why looks are important.
Yeah. And the only thing I kind of like to add to this is women are the recruiter. Sort of the full function here is your resume is your looks, your interview is your personality, and the woman is the recruiter. And if you know anything about job recruiting, you know that recruiters don't spend a whole lot of time on resumes. Every year it seems to get smaller and smaller, the amount of average time a recruiter will spend assessing if you're a viable candidate. Similarly, with dating, every year the attention span seems to get smaller and smaller, but the criteria never changes, and it's a quick look. It's looking you up and down and figuring out if it's even worth bringing you in for further discussion. Until you get past that threshold, there will be no further discussion.
Yeah. Whitecomp, anything else to add? Or?
Right? Yeah. The reason why this axiom is, I guess, very powerful is that even normies can't really deny it in the sense that everyone has went to job interviews, right? Everybody knows that they need a job. Everyone has possibly tried, get a job and such. So once again, we know that women, or at least I guess incels know based on facts, women spend maybe half a second just looking at you, already judging your genetics based on your facial features and all that, whether or not you're even allowed to talk or socialize with them. Same thing with resumes. As Slums stated, most recruiters spend less and less time. They just kind of glance at your resume, and based on how it looks and how it's presented is whether or not they'll actually spend more time to look at it to give you a call to go for the interview, which is your personality. And once again, in the job market, same with dating, it's the whole 80-20 rule, right? For every 100 applicants, maybe 20 will potentially even get an interview. Same with your online dating profile, the same 80-20 rule.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at another slide. Okay, this slide is from previous video, and just to clarify for the, maybe newcomer or something, that we are also kind of in a conflict not only with normies and NPCs and blue pillars, but also red pillars are coping with the opinion that actually if you improve your personality it can lead somewhere. But I have to also admit that red pill only works if you are already good looking. But if you are good looking, you don't need red pill. So red pill is basically a scam.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is the difference between red pill and black pill. Black pill already figured it out. We see through it. We exposed it. We know the true nature. We've got all the answers, and here we are making this video to teach you defend if you get caught in a crossfire, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, the red pillar. Oh, so I was going to say,
go ahead.
the red pillar wants you to believe that your personality will override a woman's natural instincts to dislike bad genetics. They want you to believe that you can outperform your genetics. Now, while behavior is definitely a point of assessment, as we've said, and we're gonna keep reiterating, you cannot outperform your genetics. It doesn't matter how funny you are. It doesn't matter what joke you tell. Um, if you don't hit that initial threshold, it's not happening. You're not gonna get a chance to make her laugh.
Yeah.
And what I'll add to that real quick is that, so with red pill, I associate it with just it's diverting so badly over there that red pill equals PUA. So in essence, PUA can sell you courses on how to be more confident, how to improve your personality. PUA cannot sell you how to look better. Like, they can't physically sell you surgery.
Of course.
That's why they have to sell this whole personality scan, because they can be like, oh, come to my class, I'll teach you how to maintain frame, shoulders up, approach with confidence, do these extroverted things. They can sell that lie and dream. They can't really sell the lookism of black pill.
And the bottom line is that PUAs are sellers of snake oil, because you improve your confidence to a point where, let's say you are an attractive and confident, you go try cold approaches, you fail 100 times. What's the point? You end up alone and embarrassed anyway. So this is how it's not working at all. Yeah, okay, let's see. Personality only works if a woman have already visual interest in you, which means she is carnally fascinated by your looks, which is called Chadstruck. She can decide this under 1 second, by the way, based on your height and facial structure, your bones, facial harmony, right? We can even say that fashion doesn't make any difference, because, like, for example, Conor Murphy, when he used to do his semi-naked PUA, he usually had success, right?
Yeah.
Basically, if girl measure you as an ugly person, let's say it's sub 8 theory, you will not get a chance, basically, to get to know her. So you can't even have a window to show your personality. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If anybody's wanting to test this, do yourself a favor and go check out any of the hundreds of videos of guys doing, day approaching, code approaching on the street. Specifically, you're looking at the guys who are sub 8, maybe even sub 5, in some cases, and you'll see that when they do that code approach, when they walk up to that woman, interest is immediately lost. You can see it in her face. She looks at them, she judges them.
Yeah.
And everything from subsequent from that interaction is dampened. They're looking for a way out of the interaction as soon as possible.
Yeah, I used to say that cold approach only works if you are Chad, but as of 2020, these girls are oversaturated with options. So even if a Chad do cold approach and he's not pre-validated in real life, those girls are usually scared and they pass, hard pass. And also I want to say that my friend reupload, you probably guys know reupload from our server.
Mm-hmm.
He said very important sentence. If you want to know your SMV and if you need a perfect evaluation of your attractiveness, just set your Tinder in your current location. If you got 0 matches, there is your answer.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to potentially add to this one slide, at the bottom where it says if she thinks, it could be even if her friends think you're ugly. She may think you're okay, but then if her friends think you're ugly, you're out too. So it's not even just the one woman you have to impress, it's her friends as well. So even some Chad Lights have that issue to where the girl will potentially think, oh, he's okay, he's date worthy, I'll give him a shot. But then once the friends find out and they have their kind of approval or disapproval, then they get struck down as well. So it's not just one woman you have to look good for, it's hopefully her friends as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called group conditioning. Basically, I know stories that a let's say ugly guy made it. He found some decent Becky or Stacy Light, and her friends told her, why is she putting up with him? She can do better. and this is group conditioning. She eventually started to think about it, and guess what happened? The monkey branching happened. Hypergamy happened. The monkey branching is just so easy. I mean, for girls to happen. Anyway, anything to add to this slide? Or
No, that'll be it.
yeah.
Yeah, nothing for me.
All right, this is very vague one. Difference between creepy and good personality. It's never creepy if you are attractive enough. Yeah. Let's say some example. Chad can act very foolish and goofy. God damn, he really has to act very, very creepy in order to girls to not like him. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once
Yet-
again, your actions are the same. It's based on your looks. You can say the exact same sentence. You can say it in the same cadence and positive attitude, but it will be different based on the one differentiating factor, which is your looks.
Yeah. And if sub-paid male make few mistakes, goofiness here and there, he's probably instantly labeled as a creeper, loser. And we are talking about the 0% error margin in dating, which was kind of dissected in my previous video. So yeah.
So a couple questions. I want somebody to ask themselves if they ever, or ask somebody else if they want to call this into question and claim that you're wrong when you make this statement or you show them this meme. Ask them to tell you what they would define as creepy. So here's some common ones, right? Any man who advances with sexual desires too early in a relationship, a man who asks, too many intimate questions before being given the right indicators of interest, or, with or without the right indicators of interest. Maybe he just asks them way too quickly. Maybe he openly admits to committing violent or sexual crime, things of that nature, things that would be immediate red flags, right? Or supposedly would be immediate red flags. And yet we see whenever we do a Chad fisting experiment, which for the uninitiated is basically when you set up a dating profile using a very attractive man's picture to elicit some genuine responses from women. So whenever you do one of those experiments, what happens?
Yeah.
Well, you can perform all those so-called transgressions. You can open dialogue with these women with completely sexually charged conversation. Just get right to it. Things that would, again, normally be red flags. You can openly say, hey, I've committed these crimes. I've done this. I've done that. And yet you still get matches. You still get attention.
When it comes to Chad experiments, we've got like 3-4 slides in the end of this stream, so we can dissect it a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Or white comp, anything?
No, that was pretty good.
Okay, now we are here. Halo effect. This is a psychology 101 basically. This is how people work. If somebody is attractive, it's instantly being perceived as more trustworthy. Yet there are still questions about the personalities. At least I would question it. I mean, for me, it's not enough if somebody is attractive. What do you think?
What I'd like to add is, so there's that website Photo Filler, right? And that's part of you upload your picture, and then they rate you based on your trustworthy and intelligence. And we see that the more attractive you are, the more trustworthy and intelligent you are.
Well, I would rather. To me, photo filler is a scam concept. I heard that if the algorithm pick up a smile, teeth, it instantly give you a bunch of extra points. That's a not good measurement. It's just a goofy algorithm. But this halo effect, it's a part of lookism, and this is actually one of the biggest proofs that when girls are like watching at a picture of, let's say, Henry Cavill, instantly roofied, instantly chat struck. And also, have you seen the video of Henry Cavill building his own computer rig on YouTube?
Yes, sir.
Suddenly, the comment section, the reaction videos blow up with all the girls saying how attractive it is when a guy builds his own computer suddenly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if Sub 8 built his own computer, nobody cares. I mean, brutal. Double standards, right? Insane.
So to mention something about that, just a little personal anecdote. So when I'm in IT, and when I look for IT type jobs, if it's earlier in my career, main point is all the techs would be these like hunky type guys wearing polo shirts and khakis, and I'm sitting there thinking nobody who's in these jobs looks even remotely like that. I don't even know why you're trying to perceive that. It's always these bigger chested guys, and they look good, and they're like, oh, I'll fix your computer here or there. This is like earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Halo Effect. Anything else to add, or we can?
No.
Yeah, only other thing I would add is, if this doesn't tell you how important looks are, I mean, I don't know what will. It is. We're talking about. So it is very natural for a human being to be untrustworthy. Just as far as the kind of animals we are, we're constantly perceiving threats. Using our using what knowledge and experience we have. So for it to be possible for you to override that fight or flight response, or at least skew it based on jawline, based on eye area, based on head shape, etc., etc. For that to be possible, looks have to be vital. So the halo effect really does underline the importance of lookism, I think.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, now we're gonna talk a little bit about the Bundy pill.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first debunking memes for that you can feed normies if they are trying to throw the personality rebuttal at you. The question is, why had Ted Bundy so many fangirls at his court, hearing yada yada? If his personality, basically we know what kind of guy that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I want to hear some normies let me answer this. And guess what? I kind of posted this meme somewhere sometime, and I got the answer that because these girls are crazy. But
yeah,
doesn't that mean
you'd bring that up?
Doesn't that mean that like 99% girls are like crazy like that?
Yeah.
And also, my other question is, like you told me, in the California area, there are more deviant psychos that had similar killing spree count, and they had 0 fangirls. So how is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, there's two things I want to point out here. I love this meme. I love this. I love the Bundy pill is one of my favorites. It's hard for normies to argue with this. So the first thing they're gonna bring up is the crazy argument, which is pointing to a mental disorder called hybristophilia, which is supposed to assert that this woman crazy. She has a deviant attraction to killers. It has nothing to do. It's not a normal function of woman. This is specifically a her thing. So no, right? Because as Medicam brought up, there are encyclopedias that catalog mass murder in general, and you can find very quickly that every murderer does not receive the same amount of attention. In fact, the only murderers that sensationalize and draw in mass female attention are attractive ones. It doesn't happen for every single one. So there's a clear and present correlation between being attractive and your transgressions, your crimes being overlooked. You can take this away from the scale of a Ted Bundy, and take it down to the street level. If you know anything about, more urban areas, in those areas you have killers, you have known killers, as in the community knows these people have killed people. The cops may not be able to arrest them yet, but they're known to be criminals, and as long as they're attractive, they're still able to garner that female attention. So this isn't a one-off thing. It isn't a isolated incident. The point here, that's okay as long as you're easy on the eyes.
So, similar story is Richard Ramirez. He's got this very, very strong jawline, and also there are evidence of him receiving hundreds and hundreds of fan mail from girls. But we dissected Ted Bundy's looks in my previous video on how to blackpill a normie, and we found out the facts like his zygomatics, very good eye area, compact mid-face, wide smile, perfect hairline, yada yada. All these features, facial features, are part of the lookism, which is the evidence of visual discrimination towards unattractive men. Bundy was actually an attractive guy. This is why he had so many fan girls. Yeah.
The formula is, okay, if you are a 5'3" unattractive man and you go on a killing spree, let's say I'll give you a random number, let's say you kill 5-10 people, you will be remembered as a monster, as a incel who raged against the machine and had to be put down or locked up. If you are an attractive man, 6'4", solid jawline, good face, and you do this, you'll be remembered as the ultimate bad boy.
Exactly. We've got
it'll
another
be completely
meme about
different
that.
perception.
Yeah. Anything short to add? Because
Yes.
this pill is kind of very sickening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So the only thing I'd add real quick is even guys like John Wayne Casey and Charlie Manson, where maybe they don't look as good, but their status kind of gets them the women. But the main point I want to make by stating that is that personality means very little. That's how little it is. There's other things that trump personality, like almost everything trumps personality. So even status and other factors.
Yeah. Okay. Also, to wrap this Bundy pill, this is like one of the weakest rebuttals to use against normies. I've got this presentation have even more better ones and potent ones. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. The ABC News height and dating experiment. Yeah, I'm gonna repeat myself. I probably make 3 videos about this all over again. So, normies are saying yada yada yada, blah blah blah, personality matters. Then I am asking them a question. Why was Stu rejected even if the presenter said that he is very rich, talented, sportman, owning ski resorts, yada yada yada, all these perfect personality traits, and yet these Stacy's rejected him. They only said that they would pick him if the other ones were murderers. I'm asking normies, where is the personality now? Right?
Yep. No, sorry. What? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say he's so short that his personality flew over his head. The women can't see it. Only if he was taller, they could see his personality.
Exactly.
It's funnier than what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, in order to make the short man an option, the other men have to be absolute degenerates, and even then, his status is still questionable. So, I mean, that doesn't say it all. You have to give them a worst case scenario, a horrible case scenario for the other men before they'll even consider taking, a Stu, and I'm using the word taking and not settling because it wouldn't be a settle. Stu is an accomplished man with, again, a so-called great personality, which is what they apparently like. In all facets of life, he's done well, and yet it's still not enough.
Yeah, and also I have my personal suspicion that the reason why domestic the reason why domestic violence exists is that women rather choose, like, let's say this guy, even if he's abuser, compared to this very good personality manlet. And sadly, there is too many manlets, and also my friends out there, they never get their chance. I mean, such a waste of great potential and great personality. I mean,
well, there's one other thing I could add, and then I'll be done here, is there's evidence that shows that women like a man who has the potential to be dangerous. The idea here is the more dark she can sort of imagine you getting, right, the more it turns her on because there's a dangerous element to you. That's very difficult, I would imagine, for these women maybe to imagine Stu exhibiting that sort of dark side that would turn them on in that way. So I think that also relates back to your point, Medicam, which is, okay, where's the domestic abuse coming from? Well, certainly not as much from Stu as it is from maybe the gentleman furthest to the left or in the opposite direction on the right.
Yeah. All right. White comp, anything, or I can move?
Well, I just now thought of something. When women say they want a good personality, what are these personality traits? They never do state the personality traits. They always keep it vague. He needs to have a good personality. Okay, be specific. And then they'll just, oh, we need to have that. We'll see that later in the video, but we need to have that spark. They're never exact with what personality traits they want.
Well, I can imagine them saying something like originality, integrity, sense of humor, but it only counts if this is on top of good looks. That's what they mean. It's called silver lining. We have a slide about that. All right. Another example of such a brutal black pill. All right. Jonah Hill, right?
Yeah.
There is this video on YouTube called Jonah Hill Hurts. It's a like parody music video on the song from Johnny Cash, Hurt. And Jonah Hill, it's like he is always portrayed in these movies as such a doofy, fat, ugly guy, yada yada, weirdo, right? He was invited to a bunch of interviews, and they keep mocking him, and he went to this Spanish TV show or whatever it is, and there was this nasty interviewer, and she was like, like you bring your pals DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and you go away. I'm asking normies, if this is not related to his looks, then what the hell it is related to, please?
Yeah.
And
Mind you, great personality, funny guy.
Look at that defeated smile. He just, showed the okay thumb. And like, yeah, let's move on to the next question. Everybody is laughing. Look at that. Brutal. They absolutely brutalized him, and he doesn't deserve this. I mean, he's a talented actor. He made it. It's like, yeah.
Well, obviously, DiCaprio and Brad Pitt have a better personality than Jonah Hill. Okay, you just gotta accept that. Obviously, their personality is way better.
Quote to quote, yeah.
So must be much funnier, much cooler to be around. I mean, when I saw this, what came to mind is, as an ugly man, and I don't even think he's all that ugly, but in this case, compared to those two, obviously, there's some symmetry. But as an ugly man, your worth is what you bring with you, but never you, right? So it comes down to what can he offer outside of him? Is it money? Is it status? Is it resources? You see it play out all the time when it comes to gold digging and beta bucks. In this case, it's his social circle. He knows people. He knows people that have better personalities that I'd rather be around.
Brutal. Yeah. Anything else, or we
No,
can?
we can go next one.
So this is the first challenge for normies. If fellow black pillars are watching this, shove this picture in their face and ask them, how is this not related to looks? All right, next one. Also very important. Look at that. The show called Dating in the Dark. Oh my god. So, lookism is going mainstream, and how the hell normies are not realizing it yet? I mean, the question is, if personality matters, why are most girls disappointed with men's look upon reveal? Because half of the show is done in the dark, and they are like, those girls are like, oh, please God, let him be tall, let him be tall. And then the lights shine. There is usually some man-led or whatever, recessed chin, missing hair. Those girls they fell into disgust. Please, NPCs, explain. Right?
Yeah, you get to see the black pill in real time on that show.
Yeah.
And what's scary about that show is I believe it premiered in 2009. So I mean, you can imagine things have not at all got better since then. They've gotten remarkably worse. I mean, the lesson from here is, look, if all that mattered is how you act, who you are at your core, so to speak, who you are on the inside, then the looks reveal would be a lot less dramatic. In fact, the show probably wouldn't exist because there wouldn't be anything surprising about turning on the lights. So the whole point here, even the show is acknowledging it, which, like Medican said, you would think this would turn on the light bulb for more normies. The show is saying to you, it's telling you, that's the story. The climax here is seeing the face and not meeting the expectations. Again,
Yeah.
right in your face.
It's
straight
also
up.
surprising that in the first half of the show, sometimes these girls surprisingly clicks pretty well with these manlets. They have fun, they are kind of mesmerized, but then, like I said, they are being revealed. This terrible these terrible visual traits, and these girls are instantly, everything fell off. There is no chance that for them to get them no further, which is such a waste. So tell me, NPCs, how is this not like, how is lookism not real? Like, this is absolutely one of the powerful memes that I recommend our viewers to use when they get caught in the crossfire. Also, there is this other show called Take Me Out, right? And Incel TV made this video like 7 Deadly Sins. And like, yeah, I have a question. Like, they came there, they presented their lives, whatever, started to singing, whatever. If they didn't look good, all these girls pressed the red button, they were out. Non-chats, absolutely disqualified. Right?
Yeah,
Right.
there's even some late night. Some other incel channels have shown late night USA or America type late night shows of them doing the same thing, but with a Tinder type vibe to it. So it's just these types of shows are just going to become more and more popular.
Yeah. It's surprising that wokeism is getting mainstream out there, yet the black pill awareness it's not. And they should supposed to be hand in hand, yet it's not happening. These normies are keep being stuck in delusional state of coping, and it's insane. Yeah. All right, anything else to add, or we can peek on the other slide?
Let's keep it moving.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, another example of how gonna normies answer the question. There is this video on YouTube. If you type in autistic chat, you will find this video, and I'm sorry to say that, I'm also sorry for all the disabled people. I have compassion for them, but this guy is basically a Chad looking vegetable. He doesn't speak, he doesn't do anything, he just sitting still for 15 hours, yet he's got these pretty decent facial features. And if you check out the comment section, every second comment is from some Stacy claiming how handsome he is. Isn't that like literally like handsome equals I wanna date him? Like, so I'm asking normies if personality matters, and this vegetable don't have any personality, literally, how is possible that girls find him attractive? Right?
Yeah, I think the first time I saw this, I'm looking at those comments and I'm thinking to myself, you have a video of a man who is on what has to be the furthest extreme of the autism spectrum, right? He's completely socially abnormal to an extent that I think most the average person wouldn't even be able to handle. They would have difficulty even communicating with him. And the first thing that comes to a lot of these women's minds in the comments is how attractive he is. So again, we're not just talking about even dating in this example. It's completely for looks to even trump that, that kind of neuroatypicality is huge. This video isn't about his looks, but they see that jawline, they see that eye area, they see the hair, they see everything about him, his face. And that's the first thing that comes to mind is, wow, he's so handsome. So, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then also in the comments, it's stated that the person who did this video has to constantly take care of him. And in these comments, you'll see these women say, oh, you're so lucky. I wish I could be the one taking care of him. These women are willing to go out of their way to take wanting to take care of this guy, and then usually it's always the men having to impress the woman or show that what he can do for the woman. This guy looks so good to these commenters that they're willing to go, or at least signal they're willing to go out of their way to put forth effort into him, into maintaining him.
Yeah, so if this is not debunking these blue pill masses, I don't see what else should. Okay, let's move on. This is kind of bringing us to another meme and slide. Basically, you can't change your face and height just by changing your behavior. Guess what? Sometimes these NPCs, they were like, nah, Medican, you have terrible personality, you need to change your behavior. It's like, duh? Like, if I didn't try, right? I tried all the kinds of behaviors. If the looks doesn't match basically some threshold that is acceptable for girls in 2020, it doesn't matter how you behave. This is the bottom line of it, right?
Yeah, I would just add, so this is that whole PUA rant I had earlier, where PUA can try to sell you on changing your behavior, but once again, they can't sell you on changing your face or height.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah, there's two sentences I like to remember. You can almost think of them as a mnemonic. You can't outperform looks, and you can't trick her into overlooking your looks. It's not possible. You know, these PUAs, these red pillars, they want to sell you this idea that you can Jedi mind trick a woman into overlooking what you look like. It's not possible unless she's blind.
Basically, what those PUAs and normies are trying to imply and gaslight me and us is that they are trying to say change your behavior in order to be more confident, but if an ugly guy acts confident, it equals being creepy. So please, normies, get it.
And then Medican, why is it creepy? It's creepy because why would someone be that confident if they're not attractive? She may not say this to you, but that's what's creepy about it.
Exactly. Alright, let's see what we've got next on the table. Yeah, I was actually thinking of ditching out this slide, but I really have to point on the fact that personality don't matter to such a point if you are basically sub 8 male, and really doesn't matter how good your personality is. These girls are rather coping with dogs. This is how bad it is, gentlemen. This is the state of the Western culture.
It's because the dogs have very good personality.
Yeah.
You don't know their dogs. Their dogs are probably very hilarious, funny, kind. They're like better than humans.
This is all over social media. So you can find a lot of, young women, maybe even older ones, on social media with big dogs. Labradors, huskies, big dogs, very often big dogs, and they're hugging them, they're all over them. It's very obvious that they're like comfort animals, sort of taking the place of Chad until he gets there, if he ever gets there.
I wanna spend least amount possible time on this slide. I just wanna say that there are only 2 cases of dog pill. Either there is pit bull or something huge, which means these girls are missing the mogging factor. Basically, Chad is unable to commit to them, so they are throwing a tantrum, getting a dog. Or these girls are reaching the hill and the biological clock are ticking and they wanna be caretakers, so they get these small terriers or chihuahuas, because it's cute and adorable. This is how they cope. Basically, sub 8 male is not enough for them. It's sickening and sad. Yeah. Anything else to add?
Last thing I'll add is big dog means big personality, obviously.
Brutal. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a separate video on this topic because it's such a meme. Goddamn. Okay. All right, we've got a scenario. This is very common. This has been portrayed even in a bunch of movies. Basically, good-looking guy offer a girl a date or some coffee, right, or some kind of request for getting to know each other, and if the guy is a Chad, and obviously girl have the Chad track on him, it will happen. But if the same dude, sorry, if an ugly guy do the same approach, and he's obviously not a good looking, right? Either short or recessed features. Well, sorry, I have a boyfriend, I can't. Sorry, I'm rushing somewhere, I'm going somewhere. Sorry, I have this and that, yada yada. So this is the analogy, basically, right?
Yep. And so one thing I guess I saw was a texting exchange. Guy's like, "Hey, you want to come over to my place for Netflix?" And the girl's like, "Sure." Then about 2 minutes later, "Oh, by the way, how tall are you?" And the guy states, "Oh, I'm 5'6". Then within
Brutal.
5 minutes later, "Oh, my, I totally forgot. I got to take my dog to the vet later on tonight. We'll reschedule."
Yeah. Or somebody in
my
the family
God.
is sick and I have to take care of him or something. Yeah.
So I wanted to comment on this particular excuse they give because it's one of my favorites because it's actually fairly tricky, right? So I think there's two reasons why they use this excuse so much, and it's super common. I think almost every guy's heard it before. So the first reason is because it removes any possibility of a relationship, either platonic or non-platonic, right? Obviously, if I have a boyfriend, I can't date you, and if I have a boyfriend, I probably also, right, in an ideal world, don't want any male friends that I'm gonna get close to because that would be too close to the margin of unfaithfulness. Now, obviously, we all know that women have no problem having orbiters and multiple guys on their Snapchat, Instagrams, Twitters, etc. But again, this is sort of the virtue signaling that they might do. And then the second reason is it lets you know that she isn't the undesirable one. You are. So remember, she said, I have a boyfriend. I didn't have a problem finding somebody. But I can't talk to you. Don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they use it so much.
I also noticed the latest video from Alexander Grace, and the title is what does it mean if she says I have too much things going on right now? Basically, that equals chat only or multiple chats only. Brutal.
And one other thing I would add, and this is a huge black pill, and I only know this because I've talked to my more attractive friends, and I found this out. If you're attractive enough, a woman will have a boyfriend and still give you the phone number, and still give you the Instagram, still give you the Twitter. So still give it to you because, again, she doesn't mind having conversations with you. She doesn't mind talking to you. She doesn't mind adding you to the options list. It's not until you get to the social media that you find out, whoa, I think she's dating somebody. So, again, it comes down to your looks.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the notes. White comp anything, yeah? Or
Yeah, that just like Slum says, it's just monkey branching. If you are attractive enough, you will be an option to her.
Here we came to the silver lining. Basically, what women say is like, even if they try to debunk the lookism stuff, they say like, yeah, but of course personality matters. I am attracted to men with gross personality, yada yada. But they never finish the silver lining, which is it has to be a Chad with good personality, basically. That's the requirement standard, basically.
Yeah, we're just talking about virtue signaling a little bit. Very similar action here. So this sentence is literally chopped off, to make it more palatable, to make it more virtuous. I like men with a good personality. Well, now we started off the first slide with telling you personality is looks. So all you have to do is remember that, and then that first sentence, even when you hear it in person, will make sense to you. I like men with good looks.
Yeah. White commenting to add, or?
I'm surprised that we even got I'm attracted to a man part. With most women with between dog pill and lesbian and all that, the whole I'm attracted to a man, that's probably halfway to the battle.
Yeah. This is more likely like a mid 2000 meme. Okay. Challenge question for normies. Why do girls hook up so fast with attractive guys when they barely know his personality? This is gonna bring us to the question of the love at the first sight in a moment. The thing is, NPCs, come at me. I'm ready. Look at my defense. Alright, so my friend Readinfo said the visual chemistry is basically the spark, and that is basically the looks, and that's basically the perception. So it all starts with goddamn looks, I mean. So the question is, why girls hook up so fast with a Chad if they don't even know his personality? How do you measure personality, dear NPCs? Right?
Yeah, it's it takes time to know somebody's personality, because when you first meet somebody, obviously they're not themselves 100%. We all hold back a little bit, just naturally, to fit into social situations. So the question becomes, like you said, well, why skip it? Well, so let's go back to that recruiter analogy. We talked about it when one of the first things. You know, your looks, that's your resume. Your personality, it's gonna be found out in the interview, and then hopefully, if you pass those two things, you get the job, right? Well, hear what a woman's saying, where they're saying the looks are so good, I'm willing to skip the interview phase. I'll give you the job right now. I want you to take the job right now. Don't worry about talking to me. We'll sort that out later. All right. It sort of combines with the halo effect, which is, well, if this man looks this good, his body looks this nice, or his face looks this good, he's got to be trustworthy, right? He's got to be worth being around. How am I going to be disappointed? So it's not an accident. You know, women know that. Take Chad now. Worry about the details later. Because guess what? Even if it turns out Chad has a shitty personality, I can excuse that. I will eventually excuse that. Even if they don't think about this consciously, it's what's going to happen via the halo effect. Oh, if it turns out he's a little bit abusive, he's this, he's that. Oh, it's not that he's abusive. He's just passionate, you know, etc., etc.
Yeah, and I'm gonna quote two of our friends from Mammon Network. First is Sheriff Foodie Schwarzenegger. He said, looks are determining the quality of your life. And Readinfo said, perception is everything. If you combine two of these together, we start from the beginning, which is lookism, which is part of Black Pill. This is how people get discriminated if they're ugly. So, move on to the next slide. One of the strongest memes out there, this one. Please screen cap, use this as a weapon. Everybody knows the saying, love at the first sight, right?
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in my country, that's a thing. So, dear NPCs, my question for you: why there is no such thing as love at the first personality? I'm all ears. I'm Andrew Marr here. I'm listening, dear NPCs. Come at me. I mean, what can we say
there's
about
no
this? Such a
there's no
hypocrisy.
axioms for that.
Yeah.
There's no axioms to describe instant chemistry based on behavior. There's not one. I've never even heard a woman take the time to virtue signal that she fell in love with a joke, or she fell in love with the way he walked, or any of these other things. And I think it's because even women, and of course men as well, recognize that all those traits are interchangeable. They're not the important part. It's the looks that really matter, because that's the lynching pin. That's what's gonna set it all off. If he's funny, it's just a plus, you know.
So sometimes I have a suspicion this quota originated sometimes during Cold War, when these boomers start to notice, let's say the proto black pillars, starting to notice that somehow women are attracted to these pointy defined features, and they started to subtly testing the masses with this very eupheminized quota, you know, love at the first sight, which implies the question, do you believe in lookism, basically. Yeah. Lookism is let's say 99%, because we actually do believe that the Navalts exist, but they are probably 1 out of 1,000 or something, and they are probably being poached by a Chad anyways. So yeah, we are not like absolutely nihilistic We don't even believe that nihilism belongs under black pill, but we do believe that honest women with integrity do exist, actually. But like I said, we have a better chance finding unicorn or Bigfoot than them. So yeah. Anything else to add to this slide?
No, slide speaks for itself.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. One of the strongest one. Yeah, love at first sight, buddy boyos. Alright, this one is a classic. I used it in previous video. I think Face and LMS brought it to the sphere. And I added the second part. Basically, this is not a man shaming. This is just how we are being perceived. So, she is not hard to get, or she doesn't play it hard to get. We are just hard to want. And the reason we are hard to want, because we are not good looking enough. We are not meeting the threshold for dating in modern era, which is insanely high because we got hypergamy, oversaturation, girls have unlimited dating options, there is male surplus, there is social media happen, right? All these factors, and yeah, this is just an axiom. Anything else to add?
Yeah, so you could actually, if you cover up the second and third line, it pretty much speaks for itself. She is not hard to get. You are not good looking. I mean, just because the second and third one kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah. One thing I would add is women don't use PUA tactics. They don't have to. So, all this push pull, resist, stay away from a little bit, make her want it. All this bullshit you might have heard from a PUA. Don't ever think for a second a woman is using that. Okay, if she wants you, she's gonna make it known. There's not gonna be an issue with her making it known. So she's not resisting you to see if she can pull you back in more later. She just doesn't want you.
Of course. Not only this push-pull nonsense is only works if you are Chad, but also it's a common knowledge that femcells don't exist, because we see in the Juggernaut log experiment results, or even if you make a blank empty profile on Tinder stating you are female, you will have 150 matches. Okay. Yeah, let's talk quickly about how snuggle harassment by chat is called flirting. This according to girls, right? And my question for normies is, please show me snuggle harassment case where it has been done by a chat. I'm all eyes here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah. If you've ever worked in the corporate environment, then you know this all too well. I've seen my more attractive coworkers comment on what a female coworker was wearing. Sure, they told the line, but technically you're not even allowed to do that. You're not allowed to comment on what a female coworker is wearing. It's literally written in the handbook you get handed as an employee in most companies. It's actually inappropriate, but obviously it doesn't apply if you're attractive. So they just flat out say, hey, Stacy, I like that sweater. I like when you wear that sweater, or you look really good today. This, then the third. Try that as an ugly man. She may smile nervously. You may think that she liked it. Then you'll get called into the HR office, human resources, and they'll let you know that you're not allowed to do that.
Of course.
And I'd like to say that to a woman, the only kind of harassment she can get is if a chat's not flirting with her.
Insane. This is literally self-explaining meme. Alright, double standards when it comes to male objectification. These two guys, let's say, have the same personality, but the way they are perceived because of their looks is absolutely different. Let's say they are both gamers, right? To girls, this one guy is a loser, this one it's a cool guy, basically, Let's say they are both living with parents. To girls, the guy on the left, loser. the guy on the right, awesome, he's taking care of his parents, right? This goes on and on and on and on. Back to the perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, guys?
The rationalization is how you'd sum it up. You take the desired conclusion, right? Here's how it works. And I talk about formulas. A lot of this stuff just makes sense to me programmatically, right? So the desired conclusion is that Chad is always good, right? That's the conclusion no matter what. All you're doing on the left side of the equation is rationalizing that to make it always equal. Chad is always good. So it doesn't matter what the quality is. We've already talked about this. What could you possibly think of that's worse than being a mass murderer, right? So if that's excusable, then certainly you can excuse him being shy, him playing video games. But you don't want to just excuse it. You want to halo it, right? You want to get to put that halo on top of it. So you want to make it a positive. So like the meme says, no matter what he does, whether it would be typically stigmatized or avoided, if he's doing it, there's probably a good reason for it.
Of course. Yeah, whitecomp anything, or we can.
No, I just saw the whole. He went to a comic convention thing, so it's pretty much when Chad goes to a like a Comic Con or a comic book type convention. It's his cosplay buffet. He can actually go to the cosplay women dressed up and actually hit on them and pick them up. That's the only reason why he would go to a nerd type convention, is just to pick up the cosplay girls.
Yeah. Okay, very common story, analogy. Basically, like I said, Conor Murphy has, or some other very, very defined, attractive guys have these videos when they go mute without words, picking girls. So that means they don't reveal any personality. They just imply with their hands, like, give me your number. The girls give their number. I'm asking normies if this is not related to looks, then what the hell? Here, look at the picture. Quiet
It's
chat.
so brutal, man.
Girls
So
thinks
brutal.
he is mysterious. Even quiet, ugly guy is quiet, then girls think he's a weirdo. So yeah, let's say that quiet ugly guy is showing some skills all day long, let's say some kind of sport or whatever. If it's another chat, the girls won't like him. So no amount of personality can fix how girls are perceiving your looks. This is what I'm trying to explain to the normies.
Yeah. This one is particularly brutal because it uses socializing as the trait. And again, sometimes the logic is a little bit more subtle, right? So here it's Chad is mysterious for not talking because he could if he wanted to, right? The assumption here is if Chad wanted to, he could socialize as much as he wants, but he doesn't, so he must be mysterious. Well, when they look at the quiet incel, they assume you shouldn't be talking anyway. And that's because you're a weirdo, you're a creep. Yeah, it's sort of turned back onto you, right? So they're able to again take the same trait and make it a negative. There could be any number of reasons why you're shy. It could be a new environment. Maybe you're introspecting. You have stuff on your mind that you're thinking about. None of that is considered. They beeline towards you must be weird and move on.
What I would add to that whole quiet incel is that dude never talks. Oh my God, he's going to shoot us up. As a incel, you can't be really too quiet because then you're going to be suspect for even things you're not even guilty of, just due to association and the way media portrays incels. So you can't be too quiet, or it's going to just hurt you in your life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. This is gonna kind of bring us to the chat track, the carnal fascination. Personality doesn't matter. If girls is fascinated by your looks, she will instantly give you all the chances. So yeah. Okay. Quickly return to the red pill. Basically, these scopers are saying that if you work on your personality or approach or something, it can have results. But yeah, it only works if you are already good looking, and hence, let's say you are good looking, you absolutely don't need red pill. You don't need changing any approach. I mean, this is a self-closing circle. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, red pill is at best a enhancing drug. It's what you're taking if you're already performing well and you want an edge. Okay, so if you give Chad some of these techniques, yes, he will slay a little bit more. It'll refine his already natural ability to pull women.
Yeah,
If you
basically,
give it to, yeah,
before the Windows shifted, I mean, people from our circles know what I'm talking about, the dating options for sub 8. I have a suspicion even heteronormy or chat lights actually could benefit from red pill. But like I said, the dating market is oversaturated, and if you're literally, I have a meme, my previous video is stating that next year either GigaChat or die, So yeah.
Right. So what I like to add, and I think we might mention this before, so red pill and PUA tactics are sort of like your skills. Your looks are the tools. So if you're a carpenter or a plumber, you can have the skills to be able to, like as a carpenter, make things, but if you don't have the tools, which is your looks, you're never going to be able to do anything with it. So an ugly guy can have PUA skills, but he doesn't have the tools of looks to actually use those skills with. So he's always going to fail. Whereas a Chad or a Chad Light can have the PUA skills, but he's also got the tools of his looks to actually finish the job.
Yeah, that's a very unique and interesting analogy. Yeah. So yeah, this is so brutal. Anything else, or we can move?
Oh.
No, we're good.
Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to the colored depictions, some comic. So yeah, this guy says like he's trying to be the right for this girl, but look at that. This girl is already preoccupied and being poached by a Chad in her house. The right one doesn't have to try. This is explaining everything we are trying to like point.
What it's saying very explicitly here is, again, this is all coming full circle. We talked about lookism, halo effect, how little behavior and personality matters if you have looks. What is this all pointing to? Metacamp brings up the example of walking up to a woman and not even speaking. Okay? The right one doesn't have to try. If the looks are good enough, it won't matter what he does. It's not supposed to matter what he does. Or at least there's not supposed to have to be this heavy weight on it. The fact that you have to use all these tactics, the fact that you have to simp, you have to pay for everything, you have to beg for my attention, it's already a loss. If you were the right one, you wouldn't have to do any of that. You'd be on my couch already.
Brutal. Spot on, absolutely. I couldn't say it better. Yeah, white comp. Anything else?
Nope. Looks good. That's good. What he said was right.
Alright, so this one is very interesting. So sometimes girls, they are like, tee I'm just a shy girl, yada yada, but in reality, she is a shy girl only if the Chad she wants doesn't want her. And we had Smooth Sanchez on Discord a few days ago, and I was kinda dissecting this meme, and he said a story, right, about that girl in his class, and she had a crush on that basketball player or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
he rejected her, and she sort of adopted a shy personality afterwards.
Yeah, the guy was actually not interested in her, and she kind of threw a tantrum and tried to bend her personality in order to get impressed by a Chad. So yeah, if girls are coping with this claim that they are shy girls, trust me, nothing to do with shyness. It's just she is Chad struck, and Chad is not committing back. Guess what? These girls most likely gonna end up coping with dogs or turning bi or whatever, and it's a sad story. Yeah, the saddest part of it, she not only closed herself to the other options and other sub 8 males, but like she's throwing all these tantrums and it's deforming her personality in the end. What do you think?
Yeah. This is an example of the other side of lookism. So as sub-8 males, we experience this dynamic that we're talking about. Again, lookism, halo effect, etc., etc. This other side, though, right, that your Stacy Light, your Becky's, etc., that they experience is Chad, who gets to be the chooser in some circumstances, right? He becomes the barrier to entry. He gets to say no, and when he says no, these women have, which is not surprising, very interesting reactions. No is a very special word to a woman. Remember, they don't hear it as much as we do. So they recluse. They go inward, and this is one of the ways that they react to it. This is comparable to when you might come across a woman who either self-identifies as a femcel or just describes herself as one without knowing what a femcel is. So say, I can't find a man, or the ones I find, they don't stick around. And you keep thinking to yourself, well, she doesn't look that bad. She doesn't seem all that terrible. I wonder what's going on. You find out, oh, she's trying to approach the top 10, top 20% of men. She wants a man who looks good,
Yeah.
who makes 100K, etc., etc.,
And to clarify, I'm gonna repeat myself here. Femcel equals volcel equals chat only. The perfect
Absolutely.
example of this is a table full of food, and yet she is complaining and crying that she didn't get the cake. So yeah, have your eyes open, gentlemen.
All right, and so what I'd add to that story by Sanchez there, that girl assessed herself and believed that's what she deserved or that's what she can get. So therefore, even though she got rejected, she's only going to accept that same type of quality. So that's why she may come off as shy. It's just her stating, this is the kind of guy that has to approach me for me to react to you. She's already made that judgment call of that's what she wants and that's what she's going to get, no matter what.
Of course. All right, let's pick another one. What about that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, this one is from Brain Cells. Rest in peace. Yeah, this is also short, very accurate axiom, which stating the fact that this is the loneliness epidemic there is a reason for it. I mean, not everyone is perfect, not everyone is a Chad. 80-20 rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is also shifting, sadly. So you are alone because you are ugly. What else is there to say? I mean, absolutely spot on.
It's brutal. It's very brutal.
Yeah.
100% true. What this is telling you is it's not saying that the only way to find a woman is looks, right? Remember, face, looks, money, status. There's other routes, but what it's trying to tell you here is if you weren't ugly, you wouldn't need those other routes and you wouldn't be alone. You'd have to be volcel to be alone. So at the end of the day, whether we're talking about the LMS or we're talking about the face, it's if you're unattractive, that's the first thing. That's what matters. That's what's missing. It's a brutal truth. I get it. This one's kind of hard for anyone to swallow. If you show this to a normie, they're gonna scoff at it. This might even be Instaban material, but it's true.
I showed even lighter stuff to normies and they got instantly triggered. Like I said, I've been banned from many normie places just for trying to spill some black pills, very subtly, by the way. I was instantly ganged up by 10 people at once, trying to debunk them. They still keep poaching me with like their deniability. Anyways, all right, this is a very good one. Our friend Mr. Oof, he's got it really hard because he's like 5'3" and ethnic. So, as much as I hate to say, it's so over for him. He has his whole life is a series of rejections and he's seen it all. And basically, this picture, you know how normies, if you are, let's say you are complaining about your lack of snuggle life, and these boomers and normies, they're like, just stop looking and it will happen. You probably heard about this saying and that, right?
Yep.
Just stop looking. Just stop looking. It's like don't talk to him, like ignore girls, right? And it will happen. Nonsense. Absolute crap.
Yeah.
The reality is, not looking good will stop it. So, not just stop looking and it will happen, but the reality is, if you are not good looking, that fact will never... The fact that you are not good looking is stopping all this snuggle life, basically, to happen.
Yeah.
And my question for Norm is, when should I stop not looking? Yeah, dear boomers, I'm all ears. Right? What do you think, guys?
Yeah, it's same as telling a poor guy just quit trying to make money and the money will just come to you. You just keep waiting one day and that money, that soul made of money will just come.
It's like trying to tell to hungry kids in Africa, just don't look for food. You don't need to eat. Just don't eat. It's alright. It will happen, right? So.
There's a brutal addition that you could add to that sentence. And this is the kind of stuff that's again really hard for people to swallow. Just stop looking and it will happen if you deserve it. So most normies are not going to add that last piece in because it's very brutal.
We have a slide about that. Just
yeah.
Brutal, yeah. All right, so yeah, first normie logic, number 1. They are recommending us to stop looking, but they have no idea what they have in mind. And here is normie logic number 2. It will come to you. And exactly like you said, Slum, it only came to you if you are good looking.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, both of these, shout out to Mr. Uv, he kinda bring this up to the table so we can debunk it. Anything else to say?
Well, I was going to say, just like Incel Max has stated before, it all goes down in the DMs. If you look good enough, it will come to you. You will get messages from women on your Instagram profiles and your dating profiles if you look good enough. Yeah, you don't have to look if you do look good enough.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I just remembered that video from that park when that girl was like with her dog, and this Chad came and he kissed her out of nowhere, and she didn't resist it because she actually had the time, like 2 seconds to measure him. And yeah, he passed the threshold. So yeah, imagine if that was not a Chad. Yeah, just like, go ahead.
And this was during COVID too, so they were even talking to this guy come up and just kissed you, and he's like, "Yeah, he's so hot," and like, "Aren't you worried about COVID?" Like, what? And then the guy came by and they exchanged numbers live on air, and that was the end of that segment.
Yeah. I wonder how normies are thinking about non-chat pulling this off. Impossible. Brutal. Yeah. Okay, let's look what we've got here. All right. We remember this maybe from some pop culture, some movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
A girl finds some envelope with rose or whatever. It has to be secret admirer, and it has to be a Chad. She definitely have a Chad in her mind, right?
Absolutely.
But if it's some kind of stalker and she actually had a peek on him and she sees it's some kind of creeper in the hoodie, it's instantly a stalker. So
yeah, so like the whole there's some other incels that have told stories about where they've written a woman a poem, and it was really good, and they put it in her locker and all that, and she gets it and she's all excited until her friends point say it's probably that guy over there, and then of course it's the ugly guy, and so she's like, oh yeah, it probably is from that guy.
Yeah. Sort of relates to the dating in the dark thing, right? So secret admirer, positive traits, positive actions, oh, he's so romantic. Who else would be romantic but my Chad secret admirer? Turns out it's an unattractive guy. Oh, that wasn't romantic. That was weird. Who leaves something in somebody's locker? Who leaves a bouquet of flowers at someone's door? That's weird behavior. That's creepy. So, instant switch.
Yeah, let's look at another one. All right, we are slowly approaching the FDS memes, which are such a soy feel. Basically, female dating strategies is a Reddit section filled with these ungrateful, toxic predators, and they are only trying to poach a chat for themselves, which I am finally starting to feel sorrow for our chat fellow comrades, I guess. And this picture basically is from their Reddit. They are acting so entitled and spoiled and unrealistic dating standards. Basically, I poached this picture and I added this description. So this first girl is like, the "I got a boyfriend" line doesn't work anymore. I'm guessing she's approached a lot, and some of these guys are so persistent that this is not enough for them. So not only she's admitting to rejecting all these poor sub-8s, right, in masses, but some other girls responded to that like, you have to go with, "I'm looking for a man to pay all my bills." So basically she's admitting to letting other men pay for her bills. Yeah. Do I understand this correctly, or?
Well, you got it right.
So,
She's yeah, go ahead. What?
what I was going to say is, so it looks like the strategy is switched. Instead of women trying to find ways to reject men, they're turning lemons into lemonade and say, don't look for ways to reject men, look for ways to get your simp money. So there is going to be no more rejecting men. There's going to be just, give me that money, you be one of my orbiters. So that you're not going to get rejected anymore. You're just going to not accept her offer to be your simp.
We live in the age of OnlyFans and Twitch. You know why I couldn't have said it better. It's no more about just saying no. It's about how do I convert you into my simp army.
Yeah. So not only she is demanding a giga chat in here, but also this girl is demanding simps, I guess. Absolutely brutal, disgusting. Anything else to add? This is a very common graph on monogamy and hypergamy. A skeptic would say that we live in both the dimensions. But in the past, monogamy used to be more prevalent. We actually shifted it to hypergamy. And it's even getting worse because these 3 chat lights and chats, they can handle all these women, while these incels are being left alone. Which is terrible because a lonely man will have the cortisol intoxication, which gonna bring him into insanity. But also, normies are delusional. They are thinking this is reality.
Yeah.
A skeptic would said, or me, I'm saying this was reality during Cold War, because like, I'm gonna repeat myself, back in the days girls didn't have that much power, wealth, opportunities. They had to settle down with their looks match, as we can see here. But Windows has shifted, corporativism and capitalism arrived, so now these girls are only aiming for the top of the top. Which gonna bring us to this graph. I kinda made it. I found this one on the internet, but I marked the social dynamic of it, right?
Yep.
And also I'm trying to debunk the normie logic, because the normies are thinking, blue pillars are thinking this is how dating works, right? But in reality it looks like this. And you can see it, you can test it. If you are not a good looking guy, just create a Tinder account, you will have 0 matches because you belong to this group. While Chad and Chad Light is poaching everything in the meantime. Yeah. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, it's said it once, you say it again, man. These platforms are being monopolized by the most attractive men. There's no reason to settle for you. Why? Why would she? She doesn't have to. Chad Light and Chad can handle her just fine. And if they reject her, she will wait. She would rather wait until she can get a Chad Light
Oh
or
yeah,
Chad attention than
it's
take you.
called our friend Liberate who brought this term to the table. It's called chat holdout. Basically, these girls are refusing to date anything if it's not a chat. So they rather waste their days alone until the right one came. The right one has to be a chat. So they refuse to date sub 8. Sometimes it's gonna end up in dog pill or turning lesbian. She's terrible.
And this is why you're getting ghosted, fellas. This is why. It's because guess what? You see those Stacy's on the right. They'll go out, on a date with you, and eat the food that you pay for, drink the beer that you pay for, and you're thinking, wow, I got lucky. No. She's never gonna text you again. That was a free meal, and she's still holding out for Chad. Even if you get her out on a date, she never texts you back. She never calls you back. You're wondering why. That's just her getting dinner. She may have a couple of those lined up that week. The holdout is for Chad Light and for Chad. They're the ones who get the sustained relationship. They're the ones who get the intimacy. But I guess if you're quote unquote lucky, every now and then you'll get used for a free meal.
Yeah, Whitecomb, you got something to add?
Yeah. So there's some, I guess, Twitter memes out there showing where a woman's going out on a date with some nerdy guy, and she's just stating, "Yeah, I'm totally using him for the free meal," and she's got her phone up, and you can see that her texting to her Chad guy she's got on the side, waiting to when she's free with that date to meet up with him. You're just paying for a meal to.
Well, I have a suspicion even this Windows is shifting into a scenario like my previous short video is showing, when this high tier Becky is claiming that how is she able to date so many hot guys, and the secret is she doesn't sleep with them, which I have a suspicion even these chads are not getting snuggles. I mean, yeah, like I said, chat of today is incel of tomorrow. I mean, the Windows is shifting. These girls are became frigid. They are doing it only for attention. They are getting for them food and online validation is everything they need in their life. I just my question is, how are they stimulating their snuggle area and stuff like that? Just yeah, we'll see next year. We'll find the answers. This is beautiful about Black Pill. It brought us to all the answers of the social dynamics, all the secrets. Normies, girls, boomers, they hate us because we see through it. We see through them. We exposed them. We know how they think. They hate it. They hate us. I never claimed to be misogynic. I am not. My friends are not. We don't hate women. It's the other way around. Girls hate us because we are not good looking. It's a fact. I'm not a chat, obviously. I mean, so yeah. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I want to throw a hat in the ring here too on that same misogyny point. So again, we're talking about these things from a scientific perspective. We opened up with that first slide. I love science, which is something all these normies like to say. Not once have you heard us talk about hating women or saying that they're unique in being victims of or users of lookism or anything like that.
Yeah.
This isn't about hate. It's about identifying the root of the behavior, the truth.
In fact, all of us, we love how girls look like. We love how they smell. Sometimes we even like how they behave, but that's a novel trait. And yeah, basically, we figured out that in the West, our own women are not appreciating us. So many guys are actually planning to do CMAX, moving to places like Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, which are fairly traditional. Just look for the girls that gonna get them some attention. And trust me, they will, because there is this phenomenon called white fever, and Asian girls are basically attracted and carnally fascinated by pointy features of a white male. And the beauty of it, you doesn't have to be a Chad, you just need to be white. Brutal. Incel TV talks about this in his video called Yellow Fever. I'm recommending listeners to check it out.
Yep.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay.
I mean, I've said, what I think. White. What about you?
Yeah. So, as many of us believe, a great motivation for civilization is the sex drive. So, if there is no sexual motivation, there is no drive. That's why the people hate the black pill knowledge and normie boomer type knowledge, because if we realize that we cannot get the women that we want, why am I going to try to invent things? Why am I looking to try to help society out? I mean, boomers are not going to get their retirement because they don't have the younger class working for them. Women aren't going to get their products and things because guys aren't working and doing the tax dollars. Governments hate it, so it's that's the real reason why I think
we're starting to notice this phenomenon when incel class and the working class, they are dropping out of jobs because they are demotivated of the lack of snuggle life, and this is gonna have serious consequences. Basically, first said it in previous streams on Incelmatics, so I'm recommending also to check it out. But when it comes to this slide, anything specific, or can we pick on the other one?
No, we're good, I think.
Okay. Alright, now we are approaching the chat phishing and stuff like that, just to show to normies that indeed chat is a huge deal, and also being non-chat is even a bigger deal. You know how girls are claiming we love bad boys?
Yeah.
In translation, that means they love toxic chats. This is how domestic violence is being born. Because girls will never settle down with a non-chat in first place. And as a chat, you can have terrible personality, which is explained in this picture, right? Look at that. His description is basically mocking and bullying girls, and yet there is traffic. These girls are writing him. They wanna get to know him. Guess what, normies? I mean, what do you think is this based on? I mean, I will give them 5 seconds to think. Yep, exactly, because of the looks. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, this is very brutal. Outright insults. So if there's any reason being used in this in this scenario, there would be no messages. They'd read that bio, be disgusted by it. Obviously, this shows a very poor personality, right? Very poor traits. So they wouldn't even touch it. But instead, the bio is read as a comedy. Now you can imagine swapping that picture for a short, balding, ugly man and having that same bio. You already know what word they'd use to describe him. Incel.
Guess what?
He's an incel.
You can even make experiment posting average guy with a description that he loves family, hard work, sports, nature. There will be 0 matches in the end of the day. So yeah.
And for 2 real world examples of this, Christopher Coleman, he was the bodyguard to a pastor, and he was sort of that bad boy type, military, et cetera, ended up killing his wife, if I remember correctly, if not his whole family, because he wanted to be with his mistress. Plenty of warning signs, was abusive.
Oh, I remember.
Didn't matter. Second example, Chris Watts, identical situation.
Brutal.
So this is common. This is actually a common thing. where women will tell you they have an intuition that lets them know what men are dangerous. It's one of the most patently ridiculous things a woman will ever tell you. There is no such intuition. Why? Because they prize good genetics. They prize good looks, good body, success, status, money. Both Christopher Coleman and Chris Watts were successful. They had very nice homes, very nice careers. These are the things that they prize. It's not about being dangerous. They're okay with dangerous. Usually they even like it. So
Yeah.
when you exhibit confidence, you're supposed to have something to be confident for. They don't consider
Yeah.
you being worthy of being confident.
So we are slowly approaching the finale, and on the last slide I'm gonna give a shout out to a bunch of our friends. Yeah, funny meme. Look at that. Obviously this guy is higher than her, so the height factor is already completed. But this is how it works. In under half seconds, girl's gonna measure your facial structure, and this is a funny meme. Like, this is how it works basically. It's all about looks. Doesn't matter if that guy is like a hidden, closeted, whatever. And what do you guys think?
Love at first sight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Brutal. Okay, any other last words about the overall topic that we forgot to mention?
Nothing. Just I love this meme. The facial scan gives her information on personality. Nothing else to say about that.
It's bringing us to the title of the video: how looks are personality to women. Ta-da! This is how it is. You guys got something to say?
Yeah. Hope it was informative for everybody who listened. I don't know if I have any specific things to call out for myself. I mean, I do have a YouTube channel under the same name, Slumdigger, but I definitely don't post this often. You're better off subscribing to these guys, our friends here that Medican just went over it. They have some superb content, great introductions to the Black Pill. Aside from this video we just made, which I think is also going to serve as a pretty good intro. So definitely check them out, and appreciate you guys for stopping through.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Medican. I want everybody to comment, tell me how much I suck. Get rid of this guy. He sucks. I hate him. Why is he even on this thing? But no, thanks, Medican. Thanks, Slim, for having me on and allowing me to say my dumb nonsense.
Yeah. I'm so glad you guys came on the stream. You are probably the best comprehensible and informative guests I had. And I hope viewers gonna basically take advantage of these slides if they get caught in a crossfire with blue pillars, because eventually I agree with Incel TV, like, don't black pill normies if you don't have to, but if you are really yourself, and if you are really honest and have integrity, you will refuse to be friend with these NPC normies, blue pillars, because they have different thinking like we do.
Mm-hmm.
We see through it, we exposed it, we discovered it, we explored it. We know how girls think, we know how NPCs thinking. We are not impressed at all. And what else to say?
Send people this video, man. If you don't want to have to go through it by hand, so to speak, send them this video. Let them walk through it. Let them tell you what their thoughts are. Be ready for the usual responses. Anecdotal evidence. They'll tell you that they know a guy who's 5'3", who's balding, who has a wife.
All right, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Medican's channel for original Black Pill content like this.
Brutal. Yeah. So thanks everybody, thanks listeners and viewers for watching this, and have a good rest of the evening.
Yep.
Peace out.
Later.